Well, there's an interesting start, everybody. Good evening and welcome to the Denver Bronco Roundup. I am your host, Keith Brugman. This is the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. Thanks for hanging out, being a part of the show, hanging out a little bit late because I promised I didn't try to be a liar. I didn't expect the game to go quite that late. Wanted to catch everybody, though, wanted to catch up. Just like I want to catch up with this fantastic panel, I got to throw it over to the special guest because he's already on the screen. Mr. Kenny Kirkpatrick of the K&K Sports Show. Welcome in. How you doing, sir?
Doing good. I feel like it's been months since I've been with you guys, but it's only been weeks. But glad to be back tonight. Got the night off. Had been a great weekend of football. I know we're going to get into it, but thanks for having me tonight. Very excited to be back with you guys. The stepfather is back.
The stepfather has returned. Oh, my goodness. It sounds like a movie, just like this guy right down below. The Rocket Man, Trevor Salzman. Sounds like a movie to me. I think actually they made that one already. But Trevor, welcome in. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for hanging out here late, man.
Yeah, do they want to make another movie? Because I'm down. No, thank you, Kenny, for being part of the show again. We really appreciate you having you on. You're a legend in our mind. So thank you for joining us, and you're always welcome. No, just crazy weekend of football. Just a lot of battles. You've seen last weekend. It was like. These games were not even close. This weekend, they're all close. We're starting to get down to the nitty-gritty with ththese teams, and really the best teams truly shine, I think, in these moments. And so it's going to be interesting when we dive deep into these games. And, hope everybody is having a great weekend and, continue to watch these good games going on.
Yeah, why don't we start off right there, man? I wouldn't say all of them were fantastic. We did have one slow start. Talk about the Texans, Ravens. We really expected maybe the Texans to be, put up a little bit more fight. They've had such a fantastic season, but they go into Baltimore, end up losing 10-34. What did you think about the game, Trevor? And then I'll run it out with Kenny.
Yeah, I was close at the beginning. And that was a game that I thought would be closer.
10-10 at half. 10-10 at half. Yeah,
exactly. And Baltimore scored 17 points in the fourth quarter. It's pretty. That's something. It's still something a little hard to kind of overcome right there. But it's a game that I expected Lamar Jackson to step up in, and I think he did that. I think he proved that he can be not only a pocket passing quarterback, but a quarterback that has mobility, and he's shown that. He really took this game over. He was our leading rusher, 11 carries, 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's ridiculous from your starting quarterback. That you just don't see that around the league these days. And I think again, this is a Houston team that I think is still they're a little ahead of the curve still right now. It's really exciting if you're a Houston Texans fan, regardless of where you ended up in the playoffs, because you're in the playoffs after being an organization a couple of years ago that was just rebuilding throughout the whole, their whole franchise. And so I think it's an interesting game. It was a game that should have been probably closer if it was, I think Houston would have played a little bit more clutch down the stretch. But overall, Baltimore, that's a really good team. And that's a really good team, I think, on both sides of the ball. And they're going to be dangerous. They're going to be dangerous. Kansas City Chiefs are going to have their work cut out for them next weekend.
Yeah, already spoiling one of the other games. Yes, the Kansas City Chiefs will be matching up. But let's talk a little bit more about that Baltimore Ravens game, Kenny. What were your thoughts on this? You're up in that East Coast, Baltimore type of area, man. You get to see these guys a little bit more firsthand. What did you think about the Ravens and how they handled the Texans?
It's my local team here. It's an hour away, a little over an hour away. We got them and the Commanders close by. So I do follow a lot of the Ravens. And this team got hot towards the second half of the season. halfway through season, second half, and they proved to be the number 1 seed. They got the great one of the best coaches in football. But as for the game, Trevor nailed it. Lamar Jackson was spot on. Defense, Texans for some reason stayed away from their run game, and I think that's where it got to them, because it was one factor. And I said this on Clams and Claws when we were on. I said 20-degree weather. It was 20 degrees, and it was almost single digits wind chill. And you got a Houston team who plays in a dome. That's going to factor, just like it did with the Dolphins, and it showed. But hats off to the Texans. Great season. I think they're going to be. Looks like they got their quarterback, and boy, was I wrong about him. But I think they showed, like, in these games, divisional playoffs, it's usually your best weekend of football, and the Texans were the surprise. Rookie quarterback, rookie coaches, it showed. And the veterans got the best of them. And looking forward to next week's AFC Championship. I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah. Speaking of champions.
Oh, and one more name to watch next week. Dalvin Cook signed with the Ravens. They brought him in late yesterday. I think he's going to be more of the feature back next week. Watch out for Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook there. Yeah. Late name added to the roster. One of the funny things is Melvin Gordon was a late deletion from the roster as well. So no longer in the hunt for another Super Bowl ring for one Melvin Gordon. Speaking of champions, though, Michael Ronquillo coming in here and saying, good evening, Keith, Trevor, and Kenny, and fantastic evening to you. Nice to see you, sir, and great supporter of the show. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. He's Roundup royalty. That's the way we're doing. Another one, maybe the queen of our Roundup royalty, Miss Pearl Heater herself, saying hello to everyone as well. Michael's coming in and saying, I'm feeling better now that Josh Allen ain't the Broncos QB because of his NFL playoff woes. Russell Wilson or Jaden Daniels are moved back in the draft. Go Broncos. Good points. And we're going to hit that. Maybe we'll just fast forward right to that game, man, because it just got done, guys. It's one that I know that everyone was watching. It's one that it's the reason we were all waiting to come on the air. I knew that you would all be watching, and, well, I was watching too. So as Graham's coming over here in on YouTube saying, I'm so disappointed. When will we not see the Chiefs deep in the playoffs? He said he's sick of it. But at the same time, I got to give Graham a little hats off. Guys, remember, drawings coming up very soon. Drawing, giveaway. We have some training camp memorabilia. We have a 1998 starting lineup, John Elway figurine that we're going to be throwing in as well. It's all going to be possible if you head over to YouTube and type winner. That's WINNER, just like Graham did right there. But let's hit this game, guys. The winner in this game, unfortunately, because of echoes of Scott Norwood, wide right. Boy, Buffalo Bills came up short again versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Kenny, take it away. What did you think about this fantastic game we just got done watching?
Yeah, it was definitely fantastic. Like you said, before that, I do want to thank you, Keith, and everybody at Denver Bronco Roundup for introducing us to people like Michael and Pearl who follow us now. So I do want to give them a shout out as well from the K&K Sports Show side of things, and Graham as well. Guys are always, a welcome addition, and we love having you in all of our shows that you join us for. Hey, the game was exciting from the beginning. It was nonstop offense. Neither defense could stop anybody in the first half. Second half started the same way. Chiefs came right down the field. Buffalo got stopped, and then the bonehead play that we were talking beforehand. I know some people are saying it wasn't bonehead. Bills couldn't stop them, but Damar Hamlin on the fake run stopped short. People don't realize that was Damar Hamlin. A lot of people don't recognize that. That was Damar Hamlin got in there. They didn't even really recognize that on CBS, and shame on them. Shame on them.
Yes.
Romo and Nance, they really didn't point that out, that it was Damar Hamlin in there. So shame on them. But back to the game, they got lucky with the turnover with Cole Hardman, and Andy Reid once again got saved. And he does this a lot. He gets trick plays at the goal line, and they backfire sometimes on him. And he got way too fancy there. All you had to do was run power with Pacheco and, instead of getting fancy, and he got saved. But came down to the field goal. You said wide right. Josh Allen made some mistakes towards the end when it came down to crunch time, and the Chiefs moved on. But I got a thing. I want everybody here, Keith and Trevor, Michael, Pearl, Graham. I know you always follow Kurt on his Wednesday show, 10 p.m. Eastern time, 8 p.m. Mountain time. You all need to come on and ask him, is Patrick Mahomes washed up? Because he said he was washed up on our show. I could call him out because he's my best friend. Patrick Mahomes is washed up. We all got to ask him, is Patrick Mahomes washed up on his Wednesday show?
Let's fill up his comment board. I love it, man. Was a fantastic game, back and forth, but man, not only echoes of Scott Norwood, but echoes of, games past between these two teams where, man, it just seems like the Buffalo Bills once again just come up a little bit short, have all the opportunities almost laid out right there in front of them, but just can't get it done. Man, it was a tough game to watch, as we all probably wanted the Chiefs to lose. Trevor, what were your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, once again, Patrick Mahomes shines again when he needs to. Again, I think Josh Allen missed a couple throws that he didn't seem too confident in, and so he got a little shaky down the stretch. And you got your quarterback, your franchise quarterback needs to be able to make those throws. That's why we were talking about it a little bit before the show here. That's why I'm a little hard on Josh Allen. I mean, he's getting paid like a franchise quarterback. I know he is a franchise quarterback, but again, you got to step up and make those throws when your team needs you. And again, in my opinion, the Chiefs, they ran the football, I think, more effectively in the second half. Isaiah Pacheco, I mean, that's a guy that Buffalo really struggled to stop. Almost 6.5 yards average on the ground. I know he didn't get a lot of carries, but that's huge. It's bigger than what some may think, because that opens up the pass in a lot more ways. Josh Allen's your leading rusher. I mean, he's not Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's difficult because you're putting all it on Josh Allen to make fluent throws when the Chiefs defense, they're starting to come up and they're starting to pressure him, and they're also covering with the receivers. And that's what it seemed like in the second half. It really seemed like that just nobody was open. But because why? You're not running the football. You're not running the football efficiently. Not just not running the football, but you're not running the football efficiently. I thought Kansas City did a better job of that. I know we'll go back, and the field goal was definitely a missed opportunity, but that's where I think it starts right there on the offensive side of the ball with Buffalo. That's the difference for me. I thought first half they did a better job running the football. Second half they kind of got away from that, put the ball in Josh Allen's hand, and then, I mean, he just didn't step up the way you need to. But I don't blame it all on him. It's trickles on down. There's multiple different ways why this game where it went to where it's at right now.
Yeah, even Joey Clams, as he was talking about, on our show, Joey Clams, fantastic special guest we've been bringing on each Friday. Kind of been stealing them over from the K&K Sports Show, so I appreciate it, Kenny. Like he said, man, you look at the coach, you look at the quarterback, you look at third down conversion, you look at turnovers, and I forget there was one other, but you start looking at those things, and that's what you kind of determine how a team's going to do. How a team is going to do in the playoffs, how the team's going to do in general, right? And I wish I could remember the fifth. I'll go back and I'll learn Joey, because he's full of knowledge, and I know I should have it at the tip of my tongue. But that being said, hey, quarterback gets a little bit iffy in the playoffs. We saw that echoed in our comments in the posse here by Michael Ronquillo. So Michael Ronquillo also jumping in and saying Bills couldn't stop running back Isaiah Pacheco from the Chiefs. Yeah, once again, a balanced game. I want to hit Pearl real quick, because she says, I was feeling like I used to with the Patriots. Not again. I wanted KC to lose. Guys, we talked about the two AFC games, so we already know who the AFC championship is going to be. I'm feeling very, very good about the chances of Kansas City losing to the Baltimore Ravens. That was just a quick thought by me, quick thought by you, Kenny, on this game, because we'll end up teeing this one up a little bit more. We got to get over to the NFC matchups as well.
Wait, I did Ravens. What do you want me to?
Oh no, the Ravens versus the Chiefs.
Oh,
That's what I'm
Ravens
saying.
versus
Now that
Chiefs. My bad.
what's
Yeah,
what's your just
I'm a
quick
little
initial thought on that game?
quick initial thought. I think it's going to be a back and forth game.
Okay,
Ravens have got something special going on for them, though. Don't the Ravens might make Bronco fans happy. I don't want to give too much hope for that, but I think you may be happy come next Sunday.
and that's kind of what I was saying as well. But Trevor, you like to analyze all this. What are your thoughts on this game, man?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think it's in the Ravens' favor. Again, my mistake. It's in Baltimore as well, so that they're definitely going to be home field advantage for them. Once again, Chiefs are going to have to earn it on the road. Yeah, I mean, I think that again, I think Baltimore's defense. I think is more prepared for this Chiefs offense than I think Buffalo's was, in my opinion. And I think that again, the key is going to be, can you run the football, keep Patrick Mahomes off the field as much as possible. I think Buffalo did a poor job of that in this game, especially second half. You have to continue to run the football. Again,
Yep,
Lamar Jackson is one of the best at that in the league. So, I mean, that's going to have to be on Kansas City's defense to keep him in check. And I think they're going to have an uphill battle, I think, doing that. It'll be a close game. Again, Patrick Mahomes, he's not washed. He's the guy that he comes up clutch when he needs to. And so, I mean, it's going to be a close game, but I think that I like the Ravens' chances of coming out in this game, but I would not count out the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes because
of
they've
course
been in
not.
that situation consistently, it seems like.
Yep. It's going to be a heck of a matchup. Great AFC matchup. I mean, I wish our Broncos were there and we were talking about them. We all do, but talking about getting back, I need to get back to the comment board. Rogers jumping in there and saying biggest Ravens fan next week only, beat the Chiefs. Another one that I saw, Graham was coming in here and saying if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl again, let's just give props to Taylor Swift instead of the Chiefs. And a big ha-ha on that as well. Michael Ronquillo reminding us that Von Miller finished his second NFL season with the Bills after the Bills lost to the Chiefs. Martin coming in here and a couple of comments. One saying the Bills defense was just too banged up. And yeah, they did have a couple,
Absolutely.
a lot of big injuries up and down that board. So yeah, his other big comment, guys, getting in there, getting that entry into our giveaway, type it in WINNER. That's winner over on YouTube, guys. That's the only way you're getting entered, winner over on YouTube. So Michael Ronquillo's calling a shot, Detroit Lions for Super Bowl champions. And he's saying they deserve it for their fan base. So let's head over to those NFC games. Trevor, which one do you want to hit first, man? I'll let you kick it off.
We'll go Lions and Tampa Bay. First,
All
I
right.
want to shout out a guy that graduated from the same high school as me, Jason Light, the GM of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What a great team he put together. Again, that was a team that some say, oh, their head coach could be fired, or maybe this is a good rebuild for their team. They come out and they are in the divisional round in the playoffs. I mean, that's just, absolutely amazing. Plus, guess what? Baker Mayfield, veteran pickup and free agency. Just something that as a Bronco fans, we should definitely stay tuned to going into the next season, because if Russell Wilson's not here, I'm just saying, I mean, things can turn around the NFL really relatively quickly. So I'm trying to get to. But in this game, yeah, I thought Detroit was the better team. They have the more of the playmakers. I thought Tampa Bay held into the game for the most part. 2 interceptions for Baker Mayfield, a little tough to swallow there for Tampa Bay's offense. But I thought Detroit did a good job getting everybody involved. Jamar Gibbs, I think, was really showed up in this game today. His speed, that's the type of running back you need in the NFL, is a Jamar Gibbs type of running back. So just saying, Denver, maybe at some point in time in the next 2 years, we can get a running back like Jamar Gibbs. But no, I think just Detroit on both sides of the ball. I mean, we talk about running the football, 114 yards against Tampa Bay's 89. That's balancing the offense out, and that's really helping open up the pass. Then you open up passing yards to 277 passing yards. Tampa Bay had higher passing yards, but they did not run the ball efficiently, only 89 rushing yards. So, again, it just goes back to balance act on the offense side of the ball and continue to run the ball efficiently and play good defense. And I thought Detroit had the better team here. But I think Tampa Bay did all they could. They put all the energy they could, I think, out in this game and went as far as they could have went.
Before you get out of here, Baker to Denver 2026, not 2024, not 2025. What do you think?
What if he signs a 4-year deal?
Oh,
I
then
mean,
we're out. Then we're out. All right.
yeah, yeah.
And then I'm gonna throw this one at Kenny and then get his thoughts on the game you were just talking about. I would pick up running back Saquon Barkley. What are your thoughts on the Broncos picking up Saquon Barkley? And then let me get your thoughts on this game that Trevor just got done talking about as well.
Yeah, with Barkley, I mean, I think the Giants, which I'm a fan of, obviously, for those who don't know, I think the Giants are going to move on from him. And I do not want to see him go to either Dallas or Philly. I think the Broncos would be a great spot for him. It's going to cost about $10 to $12 million. You keep Russell Wilson, you have that $10 or $12 million to spend, as opposed to using it for a bridge quarterback. That's the point I've been trying to make for weeks with Bronco chats and your Bronco show. That's the way I think you got to go. If you could, Saquon Barkley would be a huge playmaker for the Broncos. I would all in on that, Michael. All in. He's not going to go do anything with the Giants' offensive line. That's for sure. So
agreed, man.
Let him go somewhere
Agreed.
where he
I would love
resurrect
and
his
that.
career.
Oh, I was gonna say we'll jump on the. I'm gonna have to bring Kenny back again for a little bit. We have a lot of topics we want to get to, man. And you've just touched on one, that whole Russell Wilson topic. But I do want to get your thoughts on the Lions and the Buccaneers. I know that with your good friend Carson over there, man, you guys have been tuned into the Lions and exactly what's going on for their run. What did you think about this game, buddy?
It's great. We've been rooting for him. How can you not root for the Lions? It's like it's not like they're a fan of the Chiefs, they're a fan of the Cowboys, they're a fan of the Raiders. It's the Lions. Feel good story. They advanced to the NFC Championship. He took a video earlier. He ran out in the foot of snow that they have and did some snow angels. He's ecstatic. But
love it.
Hey, the game was what I expected. Hats off to the Buccaneers. They played even better than I thought they would today. Mike Evans had a huge game. Baker Mayfield made a couple mistakes, but I didn't think he would be perfect like he was last week. On Detroit side of the ball, what a rookie class, man. Jamar Gibbs and Sam Laporta.
Yeah.
You don't need to go get Brock Bowers. You can find a tight end in the second round, third round. You just got to find them. Sam Laporta was picked in the second round last year by Detroit, and they hit a home run because he's come out to be the best tight end in that class by far, in my opinion. Great game by them too. Jared Goff, you get good Jared Goff, he's top 5 in the NFL. You get bad Jared Goff, and he's Jarrett Stidham. So let's hope we get good Jared Goff next week. Let's hope we get good Jared Goff next week, and we can get the Lions to their first Super Bowl. But they made the plays when it came down to it, and hats off to them. And good luck, Carson, next week. Let's go Lions.
Jared Goff, the old man in the playoffs now, hanging out there trying to make that Super Bowl run compared to all these young kids. So, man, last game, man. Trevor, I want your thoughts on this. I think the Packers really turned it on. They had an amazing second half. They got that push into the playoffs. Jordan Love, probably turned a lot of people's opinions around throughout this season. That being said, does it say more about the 49ers or more about the Packers? Because the Packers came pretty dang close in a 24-21 game in San Francisco. What'd you think about this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think it says something because this is Jordan Love's first playoff, first year in the playoffs. So I think it does say something that he was able to do what he's able to do and really kind of cement himself long term. I heard a rumor that the Packers might end up actually extending him after this kind of playoff run. I think he's really shown that organization something, and goes to show you can find a quarterback in the first round and you can sit him for a couple years behind a veteran. No, that's Aaron Rodgers. I understand that, but behind a veteran, he can learn, and then when the time is right, then you can put him in there and give him the show. I mean, but you got to build up a roster, and I think that Green Bay Packers team, they had talent. I just don't think they had enough when it came to San Francisco. I always thought I thought this game would be actually more kind of, a lot more towards the San Francisco direction, but it really wasn't. It was more of a closer game than I thought it might be. But no, I think it comes back to just balancing act. I think run the football efficiently and passing it. I mean, 245 yards from San Francisco, 111 yards, rushing yards. I thought Brock Purdy really stepped up in this one as well. 23 for 39, 252 yards and a touchdown. I mean, that's he really stepped up in this one. George Kittle as well was huge in this game. I just think that was a kind of a complete performance by San Francisco. They stepped up when they needed to, but again, says something to the Packers where they're at. That's a team that's going to be scary, I think, as time goes on, as Love continues to develop as a quarterback. That's huge. This playoff run is huge for Green Bay. Again, a team that Denver beat earlier this year, and we saw Love and how he wasn't exactly that guy yet. Now he transformed into that guy this year. Now they want to build upon that. So just great performance by the 49ers down the stretch. But I think it both for both franchises. I think you can take something away from this game.
Yeah, absolutely. 49ers continue to build and see if they can get over their hump. They kind of feel like they have their own they need to get past at this point, and for the Packers to get to that point again, where they started to where they ended, quite amazing. Pearl was coming in here saying it was a fantastic game, and she was rooting for the 49ers. Yeah, Randy Gregory continues on with the 49ers, guys. Just keep that in mind as well. Kenny, did we already hit you on this game? No, we haven't hit you on this game, right? No, go ahead.
No,
I need to get
I'll
your
do
thoughts
mine
as
quick.
well, man. Sorry,
Yeah.
I've a million thoughts going through my head. I got to make sure I get everything in here.
I'll start with the Packers. Big law, Trevor nailed it. Jordan Love coming out party these playoffs. He faced the Cowboys 2 weeks ago, top defense in the NFL. 49ers, top defense in the NFL, had a chance to beat them. Okay, made a mistake at the end. I don't hold that against him. Not blaming. I'm not putting the blame on the weather neither. The weather wasn't a factor. He made a mistake at the end of the game, but it was bad weather there. I think if the Packers had A.J. Dillon, you may see a different style of game. Aaron Jones, great running back, but they didn't have the power guy in A.J. Dillon, and I think that could have worn their defense down a little bit. But I think Jordan Love, no clear number one wide receiver. Christian Watson hurt most of the year. He came back these playoffs, but he wasn't 100%.
Yeah. How
can you not tell me this guy's not going to be their franchise quarterback going forward? Again, beating a dead horse with that. But Jordan Love, franchise quarterback, in my opinion. San Francisco, on the other hand, got away with it. They snuck away with a win, and a win's a win. But 49ers may have been a little exposed in this game. Lions, in my opinion, have an offense that is going to pass on that weak secondary. That secondary left guys wide open yesterday. And you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Laporta that we mentioned, Jameson Williams, speedster. The Lions match up very good on both sides of the ball against this 49ers team. They have a good run defense and a good passing offense. So I look forward to that game next week. And 49ers might be a little overrated, but Deebo Samuel, curious to see about his injury status, because that's going to be a big loss for him if he can't go.
Yeah, and San Francisco does it right, man. Forget about second-round tight ends. Could just go out and get your seventh-round QB, and that's the way you get it done, baby. That's not. But honestly, Purdy, I thought this was going to be the season that Purdy kind of fell flat. That things would the magic would rub off, and things would kind of settle in. The dust would settle, and we'd find out exactly where he was truly as a QB. If that's the case, man, he's solidifying himself right near the top because he continues to win with, and some may say it's all the weapons around him. That's what it takes. There's many times that's the case, guys. That's the case. You have to have all those weapons around you if you get all the way to the Super Bowl. I've yet to see a quarterback that has zero weapons around him win a Super Bowl. Yet to see it. So Purdy's looking Purdy. Roger's coming in here just really quickly, saying Miller reunion next season. Boy, he'd have to take a big hometown discount to come back to Denver, and I know that he talks about loving the Denver Broncos and what he would do for the Denver Broncos, and he supports the Denver Broncos, but I don't know if he's willing to support it with his back pocket quite that much. That's my thought just off the top. Anybody else have a different opinion, Trevor or Kenny?
Yeah, no, Miller's not even a free agent this year. He's still under contract, $23 million cap hit. So he's still he'll be on the Bills. But no, I wouldn't bring him back even if he was a free agent, unless it was very, very cheap. I mean, you can see his production just continuing to drop ever since that Super Bowl win with the Rams. He's really dropped. It's unfortunate because I love Von Miller. He's going to be a guy that's coming in the Ring of Fame one of these days. But you can't bring him back after that. And I don't blame Denver for trading him at the time when they did. They needed to.
Trevor Keith, it was like I was just going to say it was like LT, Lawrence Taylor from my Giants, greatest of all time, in my opinion, and a lot of opinions. When he got near the end, you could just see him. He wasn't the same player those last couple of years. And it's unfortunate. Baseball, we talk about it. Miguel Cabrera, the same thing. Miguel Cabrera, Carson always talks about how his, different sport, different time of the year, but he deteriorated. So Von Miller, I think I agree. I think he's hit the age where he's starting to, the game's getting to him, unfortunately.
Yeah. It might be getting into him at this point, like you said, love Vaughn, love what he did. But getting to things, I want to get to the chat board real quick. It's starting to light up again real quick. And have Martin coming in here and saying Purdy struggled a bit with the wet ball. If it's dry next week, Devo is healthy, they should win next week, in his opinion. Young Tyrone coming in here saying it wasn't a mistake. The NFL is rigged, and you know it. A lot of talk about that, man. There's a lot. Hey, when it comes right down to it, when you look at what the NFL is, it's not listed as a sports industry. It's listed as a entertainment industry. So
shake it off, Tyrone. Shake it off. Shake it off. Taylor Swift. I mean, come on. They're trying to get her into the Super Bowl.
There you go. There you go.
Conspiracy
like that would hurt the ratings. That would hurt the ratings. Michael Ronquillo saying Von Miller still has 4 years left with the Bills.
Well, he's got an opt out next season on 2025. It's $15 million dead cap, and if they don't, then it's 3 years, $52 million that they will have to pay him. So if he doesn't produce next year, I would imagine they actually may just cut him. Honestly,
very good. There you go, bud. Well, one of the things I wanted to bring up, guys, and it's funny because, we're so entrenched in ourselves, as Broncos fans. It took actually doing a little bit of research before this kind of came about. And what I wanted to talk about was, the Shrine Bowl and the fact that Davis Webb is going to be offensive coordinator for the West. But Kenny, who's going to be the head coach for the West? Do you have any idea who that guy might be?
Is it going to be Mike Kafka?
How about that, buddy? Talk about it, man. A little bit of pairing up. Yeah, it's Mike Kafka is the head coach for the West, and going to be down there at the Shrine Bowl, taking a look at some prospects. What are your thoughts on Mike Kafka being head coach? And then Trevor, I'll throw it over to you. What are your thoughts on Davis Webb getting offensive coordinator?
I love it. I mean, you get to see.
Oh, by the way, guys, and I want to point this out to you guys as well as maybe our listeners, our viewers, our watchers. By the way, like, share, subscribe. Denver Bronco Roundup, Rocky Mountain Sports Network. We love you guys. Thank you guys so much. You guys have grown us a ton. But the way that these guys are actually brought in and they get these positions of head coach or offensive coordinator is they're voted on by their peers. So that says something, man. So take it away. Mike Kafka, head coach for the West Shrine game. What do you think? What are your thoughts, man?
I love it. You know why I love it? Because he's our offensive coordinator, and we had a historically bad season offensive line. We have no true number one wide receiver. We have a tight end that is always hurt in Darren Waller. So on the offensive side of the ball, I love it. Like he can see, scout some players. And I'm going to now that I mention it, because I didn't do my homework. I didn't know Kafka was there. I'm going to take a look at the rosters, and then come draft time, I'm going to have them marked down. the roster and have it printed out and see if the Giants take anybody or the Broncos take anybody from that East-West Shrine game. But I love it. And for Davis Webb, he was the Giants quarterback a couple of years ago. And maybe he might go and do some scouting, but he may also maybe audition him for backup quarterback job for the Broncos as well. So, maybe
there you
put his name in the mix for Sean Payton.
Coach, put me in. I'll drop the clipboard right now. Don't worry, I got it in me, man. Some notable names that these guys will be taking a look at. Jordan Travis, quarterback, Florida State, will be down there at the Shrine Bowl. Frank Gore Jr., running back, Southern Miss. He'll be down there. Wide receivers, Taj Washington, wide receiver, USC. Malik Washington, wide receiver, Virginia. A couple of big names there. Jalen Coker, wide receiver, Holy Cross. Tight ends, Dallin Holker, tight end, Colorado State. He's an older prospect, started off at BYU. So that's a good tight end to look at. So, yeah, you got your – I'm not going to go through the entire roster, but those are your kind of skill positions on offense, Kenny, that these guys might be taking a look at and that Davis Webb might be taking a look at. Trevor, what do you think about Davis Webb getting voted to be offensive coordinator down at the Shrine Bowl?
Yeah, I think a lot of that's connections. That him and Kafka clearly have a connection. I actually would keep my eyes open for that down the line. If Kafka ever gets a head coaching job somewhere, Davis Webb might go with him. Honestly, so just keep an eye on that down the line. But yeah, again, I just think that's where Denver's at right now. You have to think about, hey, maybe we don't go quarterback first round. Maybe it's not even second round. Maybe we start rounds 3 through 7. Maybe that's where we can find our guy. I think it's a great opportunity for Denver to capitalize on getting a quarterback late in the draft, because again, you're not just a quarterback away. You need multiple different holes filled, I think, throughout the draft. You're only going to be able to do so much in free agency. So I think it's wonderful. I think, gives him another chance, Davis Webb, another chance to kind of show what he's got as an OC, not just a quarterback's coach.
Yeah. Quick riser, man. Goes right from being in the NFL, holding his helmet to holding the clipboard to all of a sudden he's down at the Shrine Bowl being an offensive coordinator. What a great opportunity for him, man. See what he can do with it. And, an opportunity to scout as well, do a little additional scouting and certainly get an inside feel for some of these guys that you really wouldn't get in any other way, shape, or form. So another piece I want to hit real quick. I always say real quick. Let's take our time on this one. Another piece I want to take some time on, guys. No, Michael Ronquillo brought it up. It was kind of another piece that we were talking about when it came to some of our coaches, and that's the fact that Christian Parker was interviewed for the defensive coordinator for the Patriots last week. So something that we've been kind of hoping the day would never come. Is it the day, in your opinion, Trevor, that Christian Parker leaves the Denver Broncos organization and moves up in position and with a different team?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that to keep an eye on. This Christian Parker's name has been floating around there. It seems like for a couple of years now. He was part of that. He was part of that Vic Fangio staff. He's carried over a couple of staffs now. So on to Sean Payton. So yeah, I think it shows that Denver, they don't value him as the DC. I don't think, because why would you let him interview with another team if you would promote him to your defensive coordinator? That's why I think Vance Joseph is likely back. Christian Parker will probably, if he goes somewhere, it'll be for a DC job. Other than that, I think he stays put. But it'll be, I don't know how likely he is that he gets that position there with the Patriots, but I think it's definitely interesting. And I think someone needs to take a shot at him at some point in time. Again, this defense for the Denver Broncos, they've been pretty solid for over the past couple of years. And I think, especially that secondary, it's just so, and he's really developed a lot of good players, throughout that secondary. So definitely, I think a guy that deserves a shot. Not sure if it's this year or not. I don't know if New England wants to go over a veteran presence, as far as DC, or they want to go younger DC. We'll end up seeing what goes on with that. But yeah, it's definitely intriguing. Maybe he might get some other interviews down the line. As his head coaches start to come and play and start finding jobs. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, and he's part of their acceleration program in the NFL as well. That's another thing that kind of worries me. He's been looked at and gleamed upon for quite some time. So I want to get your thoughts on this as well. Is Gerard Mayo and Christian Parker a good fit there, Kenny? What are your thoughts?
I like them. What I hear from Trevor, and I've seen, your secondary was good. What's the McMillan was his name, right? The other corner.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it my getting
Jaquan
his name?
McMillan. Yep.
We all know Pat Surtain's a lockdown, but the secondary was strong point in Denver. So,
Mm.
but pairing him up with Gerard Mayo, I like the route. Now look how it was last year with Nathaniel Hackett and all young coaches. It was a nightmare. I like the veteran coaches coming in to maybe help out the rookie coach. But I'll give you a team to watch out for Christian Parker. Aaron Glenn is getting a lot of interviews with Detroit, the defensive coordinator. They have their weakness is secondary. He would be a good pickup for Detroit if Glenn gets a head coach job somewhere after the season's over.
Yeah,
That'd be
he
my
always.
prediction. A good spot for him.
I agree, man. You always see those exits that end up happening. And especially with those, playoff teams, championship type of teams, AFC, NFC, Super Bowl. Yeah, all your coaches end up getting pilfered off of your roster, and you need to find those guys to come up and fill those holes. That might be a great. I hate to say anything because I want this guy to stay a Denver Bronco, but being down at training camp, talk about a guy that has fantastic communication with his players, that has the respect of his players, that feels and looks and plays the part of just an immensely fantastic coach. I mean, just fits the mold. You can just see it. So I understand why he's part of this accelerated program. I understand why he's getting a look. I just hope he ends up continuing to be a Denver Bronco because I think he's very valuable. Coaches are valuable, and he's going to be a good one. He's going to be a fantastic one. So, Young Tide Roan was coming in here, and I had to make sure. He said Wade Phillips not doing anything. Actually, he's head coach of the San Antonio team for the new United Football League, which was the USFL and the XFL that now combined. So he'll be coaching come March here, just right around the corner. So not that I don't think that a team could woo him to come to the NFL. I think that's certainly a possibility. I don't think that's the end of the line, or does he want it to be the end of the line as well? So the Broncos have announced the passing of Broncos radio broadcaster and Broncos Ring of Fame committee member Larry Zimmer today. I did see that as well. So rest in peace, Larry Zimmer. So always sad to hear, and haven't been bringing up enough news like that, whether it be birthdays, celebrations, or anything like that. But sad to hear that Larry has passed on, and he'll be remembered. And thoughts and prayers to his family, his friends. So, where were we at, guys? I think we had one last topic. Yeah. And Kenny was getting all prepared for it because we were talking about before we got on. We wanted to go through and we wanted to take a look at the 2023 Denver Broncos draft class and maybe give a little bit of a ranking. Maybe we'll do a report card, A, B, C, D, or F. And where should we start, guys? Should we start at the bottom up, or should we start from the top down? Trevor, what are your thoughts?
Let's go bottom up. I think that'll be more exciting if I get the say in it.
All right.
There you go.
So starting, we'll take it. Kenny gets the say, man. Are you kidding me? The stepfather coming in here? Of course, man. He's got an opinion. We're going with it. So stepfather, we're gonna kick it off. 7th round draft pick, Alex Forsyth out of Oregon, offensive line / center. What are your thoughts on Alex Forsyth, and how are you going to grade him?
7th round pick, made the team. He wasn't practice squad, right?
That's true. That's true. I think he might have fluxed a little bit from time to time.
Obviously,
but
don't know too much about him, obviously, but because he made the team, 7th round picks, a lot of times they end up on the practice squad or being released. I'll give him a C. I'll be generous on this grade. I'll give him a C.
All right. Pearl's coming in with her grade already. Teacher says D because he has not played. Does he get a D from you, Trevor, because he has not played, or are you giving a better grade because he made this roster, like Kenny said. What do you think about Alex Forsyth?
Well, I think I'm going to give him a better grade, because I think he might be your starting center next year. So I think I might give him a little more of a better grade because that's just kind of the direction that this team may go. That's not my words; that's George Payton's words. So I mean, if Sean Payton agrees with that, I don't know, but I don't know if I'd give him a D. I'd probably give him C minus. I'll go a little higher just because he's probably going to be your starting center next year, likely.
All right. Boy, I would love to pass out an incomplete, but I think I'm going to be in agreement right here with Michael. He says a C for Alex Forsyth. I'll just put him right down the middle, man. He made the roster. There was no reason for him to come up and necessarily take snaps. Cushenberry had one of his best years he's ever had in the league, and as a Bronco, that's why he might be getting paid and being paid by somebody else. So hopefully, like they said about Cushenberry when Peyton first came in, he said, I think we have our starting center on the roster, and everyone went, not Lloyd Cushenberry. Now they're saying, I think we have a starting center on our roster, and Alex Forsyth, hopefully they're right again. I'll give him a C as well. Back to you, Kenny. J.L. Skinner, Boise State safety, picked up in the what round was that? Round sixth round. What are your thoughts on J.L. Skinner?
Safety, special teams player, guys, or you got to educate me a little bit on him.
No, injured most of the year. As he came back, he tore his pec, so he was injured most of the year. He tore his pec, wasn't able to participate in the combine, wasn't able to participate in training camp, was late coming back in, and kind of just worked his way into the I don't know, practice squad / roster, but I don't know if he got a little bit of playing time, I think, in the last game or two, and that was about it.
The only reason he's not getting an F is I kind of like Boise State in college football. I like the blue field. All joking aside, I don't like giving F grades, so I'll give him a D because the guy was hurt, torn his pec. We'll give him a D. He came back, you said, in the last couple of games and played a little bit. I'll give him a D. Again, I didn't see too much of him, obviously, so I can't really give a serious grade, but I'll throw a D out there as a joke.
Michael's just going to give him an F straight up. Probably had higher expectations like a lot of people did, and we were hoping that we could see a little bit more of J.L. Skinner. And Pearl's coming in on an agreement, giving a D to Skinner. What are your thoughts, Trevor?
Yeah, I think I'll give him a D+. I think, he came through. I think he worked his way back, from a serious injury that, could have kept him out all season long. I mean, give the guy credit. He came back and he didn't quit, and he, came out there and still gave it his all. Again, it's hard to give a lot of these guys grades because Sean Payton, just in my opinion, did a poor job of really getting these rookies involved. I mean, I know this guy's a 6th-round draft pick, but I mean, you guys like Riley Moss, Marvin Mims, the other guys we're going to get to, just a poor job of getting these rookie guys involved more with this team. I mean, again, if this is what you're going to have to go through in the draft, and you're going to go more to the younger route and controllable players, you're going to have to commit to that going forward. And there's a lot of these first-year guys. You could benefit that off this season if they would have played more snaps going into year 2. Oh, they're not much better. Well, now you didn't play them as much. A lot of these guys play special teams. Now they're going to have to learn next year because they're probably going to have to be more counted upon because of where your cap situation is at and where lack of draft capital you have. So for me, I gave him a D+ just for coming back from a major injury, and I think he did all right on special teams.
Yeah, you know what? I'll just go ahead and I'll give him. I mean, it's so tough to grade. I'll put him in the exact same spot. Basically, I'll give him a C-. Again, a guy that I hope can come in and show potential. Graham's coming in here and saying he's going to be a career backup with Locke and Stearns on the roster. I hope Stearns can stay healthy enough and come out there and play well enough that he does keep J.L. Skinner, as a backup role. That's what we want out of that year's draft, quite honestly, when we went up and got Caden Stearns. So that being said, C- for me. Expect to see a lot more. I do got to say, it's funny that the coach gets a little bit of flack for, maybe pulling a Stidham for Russell Wilson, but then everybody wants to see Alex Forsyth, Riley Moss, J.L. Skinner put in there. That means you're pulling out other guys that were doing quite well at that point and putting them in position. And when you're still in it down the stretch, that's a really tough thing to do. But I understand maybe that last game, we could have seen a lot more of some of these guys. A lot more, including a guy like Riley Moss. Why don't I kick it off with you, Trevor? What are your thoughts on Riley Moss? And I'll come back around to Kenny.
Again, another guy that I just felt like should have seen the field more. Again, I know we love Fabian Moreau and what he's done here, but again, he's a free agent. You know the situation you're going into probably this next year where you're going to have these guys you traded up for. I mean, let's here's the thing, value wise, you traded up for Riley Moss, you traded up for Marvin Mims. Why did you trade up for them if they're not even going to see the field? I mean, special teams. That's all. That's the only way you're getting them involved. That's just, again, to me, it's concerning. I give Riley Moss probably. I'll give him a C minus. I think he was fine. I think going forward next year, again, him, Moss and Forsyth and Mims, those three in particular, I think will have a lot bigger roles next season. So we'll get a chance to really see them kind of flourish. Just with where the roster's at and everything kind of being in question right now. But I think Riley Moss, I think he has a chance to be a good corner. I think we could actually see him on the other side of Patrick Surtain possibly next year. I mean, we're going to have to see what Denver does in the offseason, but that's very, very real possibility.
I agree. Lot of agreement on Riley Moss coming in with the exact same grade. Michael Ronquillo giving a C minus. Pearl Heater coming in giving a C minus. We had Trevor coming in with a C minus.
Yeah, I give him a C minus.
C minus. That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. And Kenny, what are your thoughts on Riley Moss?
Well, preseason, we did the draft show. Well, when the draft came up, I did draft show with you, Keith, on Denver Bronco Roundup, and I was ecstatic about the Riley Moss pickup. I compared him to. I watch a lot of Big Ten football, and I thought he was going to be a great pickup for the Broncos, and compared him to Jason Sehorn type of corner that we had years ago, a few years back on the Giants. But
I remember that.
I thought it was going to be a sneaky sleeper pick, but Trevor nailed it with Sean Payton, not trying to develop these rookies for some reason. So that being said, I got to give him. I'll go right down the middle, a C grade. Preseason it was an A, and then it came down to like probably more closer to a C minus D. So I'll just average it right out to a C overall.
Fair enough. Kenny will expect to get disappointed some more. Michael Ronquillo is coming in here on the grade on this one, saying linebacker Drew Sanders gets a C from him. With Josie Jewell possibly out the door, Drew Sanders, we would have certainly liked to get a little bit more look at Drew Sanders. He did get to come in and play the outside linebacker role rather than the inside linebacker role come the end of the season. His little bit of time on the inside earlier in the season, well, that was like a Miami game, just for instance. So not a good matchup. It didn't look really good out there early, but did look better in that outside role. But that's not the role he'll be playing next year if he's playing on the field. He'll probably be playing that Josie Jewell role. How do you feel about Drew Sanders, Kenny? And then I'll hit Trevor.
Again, I thought this was a good draft pick coming into when they drafted him on your show. But this was a position, and I listen to Kurt all the time. I listen to you guys. The linebacking core was weak on the Broncos this year, and he couldn't get on the field. This is going to be my one grade that I'm going to have to go really low on. I'll be generous. I'll go D, but it might even be closer to a D minus for me for Drew Sanders.
Very good. Kenny, being harsh. Michael's coming in with a C. Kenny's coming in with a D. Pearl's giving him a C plus. Trevor, what are your grades for one Drew Sanders out of Arkansas?
Yeah, before I hit Drew Sanders, I just want to say we moved up from Riley Moss, traded a third-round pick this year. How valuable would that have been to have a third-round pick this year for a guy that just didn't really see the field much and was a special teams guy? That's where I'm saying. That's where I'm marching with Sean Payton and Van Joseph doing that. But with Drew Sanders, yeah, again, I'd have to agree with Kenny. I mean, I'd have to say I'd give him probably D plus, I would say. I mean, that's being a little generous with that. Again, I don't think it's entirely his fault. I think, again, we found a coaching staff and that really just did not know how to put him in position to be successful. He's trying to be a middle linebacker at one point. Then he's trying to be a guy that goes after the quarterback, trying to be an edge rusher. I mean, what are you trying to do with him? You just don't know what you're going to do with him. And I think that really as a rookie, bringing a rookie into the NFL, you have to know why are you drafting this guy? What is his role? You can't just keep moving him around all the time and expect him just to have success. That's just not going to happen. And so for me, Drew Sanders, it's a D plus, but it's not. I don't think it's his fault. But again, you're going to have to see him. So the guy's might have to step up next season because Joseph Jewell might not be back. So I mean, a lot of these draft picks we're talking about didn't see a lot of the field this year. I mean, next year's probably going to be a lot of most of the year of growing pains for a lot of these guys.
That's fair. That's fair. I listen to you guys, both your points, but I'm going to take the flip side on this coin, man. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give him a B minus, maybe even a B, because here's a guy that, like you said, played for a coach that didn't really allow any of these rookies to hit the field. He hit the field early, like I said. He looked bad. He had to completely transition his game and learn a different position. Comes back at the end of the year, looks decent playing in that position. Didn't look bad. Certainly didn't give up big plays or cause any big mistakes that cost the Broncos anything. So here's a guy that transitioned his position. Now, the big question, like you said, Trevor, can he transition back? Can he move back to the middle? Can he be that guy for us next year? I like the fact that he found a way to get himself on the field and completely learn a different position and did well at it. So I'm hoping that gives him the ability to learn the position of that middle linebacker, something that he struggled with early this year, and come back next year and be solid at it like he was this year at the end of the year in a different position. So young Tyrone's coming in and saying, giving a C plus. So, yeah, absolutely. I think that's a little bit more online. Like I said, I think he did quite well. So moving along, guys, final one, second round pick, number 63 overall, Oklahoma wide receiver, Marvin Mims Jr. I do got to point out that he did end up making the Pro Bowl as well. So I'm going to start off with Kenny, man. What were your thoughts for Marvin Mims Jr. and the Denver Broncos this year?
I thought it was a great pick in the draft, second round. You needed that type of playmaker style wide receiver. Early in the season, you saw them take some deep shots, and then you saw it dwindle away a little bit. They used them in special teams. Mike Westhoff, got to give the guy props. Told you guys you were going to love Mike Westhoff as your special teams coordinator.
You did.
And he's done a great job with the special teams, in my opinion. And putting Marvin Mims back there gives him another position type element he can play. Marvin Mims is going to get an A minus for me. And the reason why it's not higher is he didn't crack that starting lineup over Jody. I know it's not, Jody's still in there. He was still little Jordan Humphrey was getting more playing time. It would have been an A plus if he would have been a steady contributor on that offense. But special teams is why I give him an A, and I'll go A minus.
Nice, nicely done. Kind of like Clayton here coming in a little bit later saying, hey guys, smash that like and share, guys. And yeah, Clayton, I don't promote us enough, but Denver Bronco Roundup, this is the podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts. You can catch us over on Spotify. Man, we appreciate everybody that's jumped in here. And Clayton is one of those guys that's been a great supporter of us and a great supporter of the K&K Sports Show now too, man. So Thank you, Clayton, so much. Clayton. We appreciate it. Getting to a couple more grades on here. Pearl was giving Mims an A. Graham's coming back in saying Mims improved throughout the year. Early struggles on special teams, A minus grade. Wanted more from him on offense. Young Tyrone coming in here and saying Marvin Mims B plus, trade Jody, make him the number 2 wide receiver. Trevor, what are your thoughts on one Marvin Mims Jr.?
Yeah, so I might be a little bit kind of down on this grade, but I'm going to go B for Marvin Mims. Again, he made a Pro Bowler, and give him all the credit in the world. I mean, man, it's really hard to come in rookie and be that much of an impact at where he was drafted at, and where Sean Payton really didn't commit to him early on. A lot of times he's on the sidelines. Once again, it's not his fault that I'm giving him this grade. But he found a way to be impactful, even if he wasn't a part of the offense heavily, and they weren't feeding him the ball. So again, for B for Marvin Mims, I think Marvin Mims has a lot of upside. Again, my question is, how can you get him involved in the offense? And That's going to be a question with a lot of these rookies. How can you get them involved with the team in general? We're going to have to start doing this. You have, I think, one of the oldest rosters in the NFL. You're going to have to start transitioning to these rookies eventually, these second-year guys. Does Sean Payton want to do that? It remains to be seen, but it's a concern for me going forward, because we need to start seeing that. And again, one more note on Drew Sanders. His length, I really like his length. I really like his upside. Again, if the coaches can just let him play, let him work through his struggles, I think he can be a real solid middle linebacker. And I think he's one of the most linebackers that we haven't seen Denver have in a while. The guy who can maybe cover tight ends better than Josie Joel and just be more athletic and lengthy. You need those that type of size at middle linebacker. So it'll be interesting to see what Sean Payton and the rest of his coaches do with these rookies. But need to see more next year for sure.
Absolutely, man. Across the board, disappointment that we didn't see more from these rookies, more throughout the season, sprinkled in here or there, more in preseason, more towards the very end, especially the last game when basically all hope was lost. You came in with a 6% chance, which is, so bad that it wasn't even worth even considering that we had a chance to make the playoffs. So I got it. That should have been an all rookie, all practice squad type of game, in my opinion, if you really wanted to, because you just need to see what you have at some point and get yourself prepared. Wanted to hit a couple more comments before we got out of here. Clayton's coming in here saying, I still have high hopes for Jerry Jeudy. Just need to use him for his talent, and he needs to stay healthy. Man, for a number one draft pick, top of the draft, guys, I'm going to ask Kenny, and I'm going to just get Kenny's opinion on this. I'll get a different one for Trevor. Kenny, because of the outside perspective, what are your thoughts on Jerry Jeudy? Is it just a bad match in Denver? Does a change of scenery completely change Jerry Jeudy? Is it, a new coach, new scheme, new quarterback? But what is Jerry Jeudy for someone with an outside look?
Outside look, I've seen, I think he should stay on the Broncos, because I think it's more mental than physical on the field. And I think you can fix mental. I mean, you've seen him drop easy passes that sticks in your head. He got rid of that. Then he forgot to keep his feet in bounds. There was just something off by inches. And that can be fixed in the off season. And I think he can come back. There's a reason why this guy was picked where he was picked in the first round. You've seen this guy get open quite often this year. And Russ takes shots at him and it just didn't connect. But, I think you stick with him and make him your big threat wide receiver. I do, from an outside perspective. I know that might not be a popular choice, but that's the way I'm thinking.
I like him. No, I to be honest, like I said, that outside perspective, it's what we need. Sometimes we're a little bit too engrossed. We can take a look at your roster maybe sometimes a little bit and have a different perspective, especially when we're not all caught up in the drama of things from day to day. That's what a lot of times we have going on sometimes here at the Mile High City. I'll throw this one over to Trevor. Young Tyrone's coming in here and says, does anyone know if Sutton is going to stay? And how would you feel if Tim Patrick as a number one wide receiver?
Yeah, I mean, I think they have to keep Sutton. I think you don't have a lot of talent in the wide receiver room in general right now. I mean, that's a hole that you have to fill this offseason, find somehow, some way to fill that. Maybe it's down the board a little bit, because depending on the quarterback position, that's got to be number one regardless. But yeah, I think that definitely bring back Sutton. I think you're gonna have to restructure his contract now, and he's gonna have to be willing to do that. If he's not willing to do that, they may just straight out cut him. I mean, it's just something that that's where we're at right now as a team. That's why you spent all that money last offseason, and I just thought it was irresponsible as we're going, throughout down this offseason. And if we start seeing these guys like Cortland Sutton, Justin Simmons, Garrett Bowles not be on this roster, okay, well then why were so irresponsible with the cap last year? Why now we're just in the cap situation we're in now? That's just irresponsible, I think. And I think you have to bring Sutton back, in my opinion. You don't have a lot of flexibility unless someone drops you in the draft. But again, free agency comes before the draft. So you would like to get those guys in place before the draft so you can go best player available. As far as what was it, the other guy? Tim Patrick. Sorry, Tim
Yeah.
Patrick. Yeah, I mean he'd be a guy that I wouldn't mind having back as my number one. I think that would not be ideal. And I just think because you're relying on a guy to be your number one receiver after he was gone for 2 years straight with a big time injury. Again, not his fault, but you're relying on him to be your number one. I think it's a lot to ask for a guy like Tim Patrick, who again is going to be one of those guys that you're going to have to decide if you're going to bring him back or not. Like we touched on last show, he's a guy that they could release and save about $10 million on, and if he doesn't restructure his deal to come back to Denver. So be interesting to see what happens, but with the wide receiver room. But you're gonna have to get younger there. You're gonna have to get more flexibility. You're gonna have to get more, younger talent and more control with those guys, like Marvin Mims type players. Again, you're gonna need those bigger receivers. Depends on where the draft goes as well as neighbors drop to you, Dunze, those type of guys. Do they drop to you at 12? So a lot of different scenarios come into play when making these decisions. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with Jerry Jeudy again. What are you going to get back for Jerry Jeudy if you trade him? Is it a 4th or 5th round draft pick? If it's not, then if it's higher, then maybe they move on from him. But I think Sean Payton really likes Jerry Jeudy. I don't think he wants to move Jerry Jeudy. If he wanted to move Jerry Jeudy, I think he might have done it the trade deadline this past year.
Yeah, he might have. He also might have benched Russell Wilson. That's another story, another day, guys. My thoughts, young Tyrone, and just a thought out there, guys. I'll get into the offseason as we continue through this week to week and day to day. By the way, Denver Bronco Roundup every Tuesday, every Friday, every Sunday, all 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So we appreciate you guys tuning in and being part of the show and catch us as much as you possibly can. Share us out there to all your friends. But that being said, my thought, young Tyrone, is I think they're going to use either Jerry Jeudy or even Cortland Sutton to package with a draft pick to move up in this draft. I don't know if that's going to be in the second round to get into the second round, by packaging them with a 3rd round pick. I don't know if it's going to be a 1st round to move up. But my thoughts are that one of the two of those wide receivers will be packaged with a draft pick in order to move up. That's my little I don't know, tinfoil hat theory to start it off. So excuse me, take that, guys. I just wanted to jump in here, hit a few more comments, guys. We have Clayton coming in here saying, all you guys do a great job. Absolutely love it. Keep doing what you're doing. We keep doing what we're doing because of guys like you, Clayton. Thank you so much. And everybody in here that supports us. So Graham's coming in here and saying, shout out to KJ Hamler for signing with the Bills, by the way. Nicely done. Nicely done. Michael Ronquillo getting us all riled up for some draft talk that we'll have to push off to another day. Jaden Daniels will change wide receiver Jerry Jeudy's NFL career. He is the Broncos' NFL draft pick. I am calling it now. It happens. I like it, buddy. How about this? Trevor for wide receiver 1.
Hey, I used to play tight end in high school. I think I should get a tight end right now. That's a hole right now. I'm a vertical threat tight end. I could block a little bit too.
Nice.
That's
nice,
it.
buddy.
I was tight end in high school too, but I'll be tight end 3. So Keith, are you tight end 2? I'm gonna have a whole tight end room.
The funny thing is I played offensive tackle. So, I always wanted to play tight end, but they just, at the time, believe it or not, you wouldn't be able to tell from the way, if you guys saw me in public now, you wouldn't be able to guess, but I was too big to be out there playing wide receiver or tight end or running back or anything of skill position so I was forced to the interior. So flex me out the tight end. I love it, Kenny. Let's run it. Let's run it. So
I ran good routes, but I had solid hands, but I didn't have speed. So that's why they put me at tight end. I was a little undersized for a tight end, but I still made it. I still did all right.
I like it, buddy. I like it. We need to, man. We need to. So I was just checking the comments, guys, because I saw I might have to go back real quick. I'll make sure that we're not missing anything. First, Facebook stars here. That's what Michael Ronquillo. Michael, I'm looking. I don't see them, but if it happens to be the case, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it a ton.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Absolutely, Michael. Thank you for doing that for Keith. it shows up on Facebook, so it doesn't show up on StreamYard or when we're
Yeah,
on
and I'm looking off to
Restream.
the side, and I just don't see it right off
But
the bat.
yeah, like
So
I'll
if I'm
see
missing it,
the stars come up if I'm in the chat, like in the Facebook chat. I'll see it come up.
yep,
Just so
yep. And
you know,
I'm
going
looking for
forward.
it, but oh, there we go. It was from Clayton coming in here with his 10. Clayton, if this 10 is in relationship to anything, please let me know, man. I'd love to get that comment on the air, man. Maybe he's just giving us a 10 because he came in here and dropped 100 stars, guys. So we appreciate that a ton, Clayton.
Awesome,
Thank you
job,
so
Clayton.
much, man. We love the Facebook stars. We love the YouTube super chats as well, guys. Drop them both, man. We appreciate it so much. Helps us out a ton. Appreciate it, Clayton. It's been a while since we had some stars, and then he's jumping in here and saying, "Yeah, I sent them." Clayton, you sure did, and appreciate you, guys. Appreciate you. Kenny, I'm going to start off with closing thoughts from you because we didn't give you near enough time to talk about you, all the great things that you do, all the great stuff that you're doing, let alone coming over here, being the stepfather over on the Denver Bronco Roundup. We appreciate you a ton, Kenny. And Kenny, take it away with a little bit of closing thoughts and a little bit of maybe, a little teaser for what you got going on in the K&K Sports Show.
My closing thoughts. I want a 15-second answer from both of you. I think you forgot a rookie, Jaleel McLaughlin.
Oh.
So I'll go with my grade is going to be solid A. Undrafted rookie, Youngstown State. Not only made the team, contributed all year long. The only reason he's not an A+ is because he isn't the starting running back, but solid contributor, easy, solid A for me. Great story. Keith, I'll go to you next.
Yeah, Jaleel McLaughlin, not a guy that I saw coming up and taking the position that he did, and he went out there. I'll be honest, I was down on Jaleel McLaughlin. I was not necessarily thinking that he could fit the bill. So for him to completely flip my mind, yeah, I got to give him an A. I was thinking about A-, but to flip my mind, to look at a guy and say, I don't think he has it, and then go out there and perform the way he did, yeah, he gets an A in my book. What are your thoughts, Trevor?
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you guys. I think A- in my book. Again, this is a guy undrafted, but not only just for this year, also. I mean, he made a huge impact on this team this year, running the football when he was out there. Again, a guy that I thought Sean Payton should have went to sooner. Just realizing that Javonte maybe don't have it this year. I mean, if Javonte don't have it this year, then go to Jaleel McLaughlin, get him involved more. I mean, again, you're starting to see this guy. You're high on him. Well, let's start just to him sooner. Adjustments. It's got to be start coming sooner from Sean Payton. You're a veteran head coach. It's time to start acting like it at times. I just feel like he gets lost in that little bit sometimes. Not too much of a cheap shot at Sean Payton. Just that's truth. But no, I think Jaleel McLaughlin. For me, he's another guy that again with Sanders, Mims, all these other guys, Bradley Moss, all these guys. They're going to be big impact players next season. You heard it right here. These guys are going to impact this team in more ways than we realize now. Next season, I think we're talking about these guys impacting a lot more and probably a lot better grades for these guys because I think they will have to see the field. With where Denver is at, with the cap situation and the draft capital, they were going to start seeing the field. I think we're going to start seeing that with Jaleel McLaughlin. Hopefully, I'm hoping Javonte's back to full health, but
Yeah,
Jaleel McLaughlin, Javonte Williams, maybe that's a pairing that we might see going forward.
I agree, man. I agree. Guys, I also agree that we are rounding out to the end of our podcast. Went a little bit over, but hey, you guys were fantastic today. So thank you so much. This has been the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. We're brought to you by the Rocky Mountain Sports Network. Make sure that you're following Rocky Mountain Sports Network, whether it be on Facebook, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be over there on X. And we have different pages for all your different sports. We cover all the Colorado sports teams. So whether it be Broncos, Avalanche, Rockies, or Nuggets, we got you 100% covered. Of course, check out RockyMountainSN.com. That's RockyMountainSN.com. That's the website. That's where you can find great articles from guys like Trevor, who just put one up just this last week and is still very relevant if you're wondering exactly what we might be doing as far as quarterback this offseason. That being said, guys, thank you so much. Obviously, big shout out to Clayton coming in here, dropping stars. It's been a while since we've had that, guys. And boy, I could use maybe a tan or something like that, and get a little bit of powder for this head so I'm not so ghostly white and don't have to cover it up with my hat. And Clayton, you might have been able to get that done for me. So I appreciate it so much. Guys, we come at you again every Sunday, every Tuesday, every Friday, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Always just check us out on Rocky Mountain Sports Network over on YouTube. That's our preferred platform. Don't forget, we got that giveaway, guys. So whether it be the memorabilia piece from training camp this last year, or whether it be that, well, I got it right here if you want to see it again. This is it. You got John Elway all packaged up, starting lineup via 1998. We're going to throw that in the package as well. We're going to get that out to you. So winner over on YouTube. That's how you get entered, guys. Been a fantastic show. Can't wait to get into more and more off-season talk. Can't wait to have the stepfather back for another episode. It's been way too long. Appreciate Kenny and the K&K Sports Show. You guys absolutely rock it over there. Been doing fantastic, buddy. And I just keep bringing it show after show after show. Doesn't matter if it's Giants, Broncos, all sports, wits and wagers. Check out this K&K Sports Show. Everybody, you won't be disappointed. Got a few last ones.
I got breaking news, Keith. We're doing a Giants show tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern time, so 6 p.m. Mountain time. If anybody wants to come out and talk a little Giants, I know it's a Broncos fans here, but come hang out with us. We're going to do some Giants football. New York style.
I like it. Absolutely, man. You get that little East Coast flair. We love it, man. Guys, jump over there. Just take a look. You'll probably find me over there in the comments as well, because I'm hanging out all the time. Pearl Heater saying, I love the off season. And Michael Ronquillo saying, Broncos country, this is the way. That being said, our outro, guys, keep your feet in the stirrups, keep your guns in your holsters, keep the Broncos in your heart. Till next time, guys, we're out of here. Thank you so much. Have a great night.